Hey everyone, Lauren from A Girl and Her Wool here. Today is the day. It is the day that the March into Spring boxes launch. It actually is for me too. I'm filming this on March 1st, so yeah, it's an exciting day for all of us. Thank you all so much who have been checking out the teasers on Instagram. It was a lot of fun to kind of reveal this all little by little, but I know there's still a lot of information that's not out there. If you are watching this at the same time that this is posted, the boxes are now live in my shop, and so I will leave a link to that down below where you can go to purchase it. I will go into all of the details about the box in this video. I'll keep it pretty short and sweet and to the point. But again, thank you all so much in advance for all of your support. I'm really excited about this, and I hope you are all too. So what is coming in the March into Spring box? It is going to be a box full of yarn. So in the box you have an option between 3 or 4 skeins of yarn, and I'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. So with spring coming, I thought it would be fun to have something to work through the spring months, and I always find socks being a great way to do that. And so I came up with this idea so that we can kind of have fun, and there is going to be a make-along associated with this, where we can really kind of march into spring with our socks. So there's going to be 3 skeins of yarn, all dyed up in different ways, and so this is not intended to be a set. So if you're not a sock knitter and you want to do like a shawl or something, just kind of keep that in mind, that these are not intended to necessarily go together in a project, and we'll see why in a bit. But they are all kind of inspired by the same mood board, which I'll put up a picture of here. So very springy colors, but again, the skeins themselves are not going to necessarily be meant to like pair in a project together. So the 3 main skeins are going to be dyed in 3 different ways. So there's going to be one variegated skein, which is going to be just like super colorful. That's how I dye a lot of my skeins. There's no like rhyme or reason to the pattern, but you'll get all of the different colors in there, and have fun seeing how that knits up. There will be one heavily speckled yarn, so I don't want to give too much away about what this will look like, but it will just be, the variegated skein won't really have too many speckles, if any, on it, and then the speckled yarn will be primarily a speckled yarn. And then the third, which I'm so excited about, is a self-striping yarn. Yes, I am now doing self-striping yarn. I've been planning for this all year long and late last year, and I'm so excited to be bringing self-striping yarn. If you watched my video, it wasn't intended to be a teaser video, but my 2022 goals video, where I kind of teased a lot about what was coming, this is one of those things that I was talking about. And so it's been a long time coming. I've had fun testing this and figuring it all out, and I'm excited to finally bring it to you guys. I will say that I am not offering self-striping yarn regularly in the shop. So it will be a limited time thing in events like this. I may eventually do a self-striping club, but for now, this is your chance to get self-striping yarn from A Girl and Her Wool. So I hope you guys are excited about that one. I'm excited too. I did post a picture of a sample that I was knitting up. Just want to say that's not representative of what you're going to receive in the box. That was just me testing and making sure that my system was working and all of that stuff. So kind of just use some extra dye mixes that I had mixed up already in the studio. So those are the 3 main skeins of yarn. So a variegated yarn, a speckled yarn, and a self-striping yarn. And we're going to talk more about those in a second. So you do have options here. As always, you can receive those 3 skeins either as 50-gram skeins or 100-gram skeins. I'm not going to do any size skeins with this. We're going to try and keep it simple, but you can choose between the sock base and my DK base. So both superwash merino blends. superwash merino and nylon blends, and that is that. Those are the 2 bases, those are the 2 sizes, and all 3 of your skeins will be the same size. So it's either 100 grams or 50 gram skein. So in addition, you will have an option to add on a contrast skein. This will be a tonal semi-solid contrast skein that is meant to pair with all 3 skeins. So instead of giving 3 sock sets, I thought it'd be pretty cool to give the 3 skeins and then 1 100 gram skein that you can use as a contrast across the board. If you don't like contrast skeins, you can also use it as a 4th pair of socks. So it's a win-win. The base will be the same as what you choose for the others, and there's no option for the size skein for this one. It just will either be, it'll be 100 grams regardless of what you choose, figuring that even if you do knit smaller feet, you know, you knit smaller socks, you probably still need a bit more of the contrast. It's also going to be a color that you can use as a contrast for other socks that you're knitting up, so I thought doing it that way made sense. Again, kind of limiting options here. So that's what you're gonna receive in the box. Again, you'll get the 3 skeins of yarn, either in 50 gram or 100 gram skeins, and an optional contrast skein, and you choose the base. So those are the options. And yeah, so the listing is live and they're available. I'm gonna say the prices include shipping, so no shipping charges on top of it. And oh yeah, so dates. So they are limited in quantity. I have a maximum number that I'm going to be selling for 2 reasons. 1 is supplies, and 2 is self-striping is new to me, and I don't want to overwhelm myself with how many self-striping skeins I have to dye up. So those are the 2 things. So if you're interested in it, definitely grab it. They're going to be available now, so when you're seeing this, they are live through Sunday, March 13th, sometime in that evening. I don't know exact time, but it will be sometime before I go to bed that night. So if you want it though, the earlier you get it, the better. The way these things go, like I'll see orders come in over the next few days and then nothing anyway. So if you want it, just kind of grab it early. So I think that is that. This is my first time doing this specialty box. I'm excited to do this kind of annually, and so you know, each year over year I'm hoping it will kind of change and curate and be kind of really fun annual March into spring tradition. But I do plan to host my first make along with this box, and so I'm going to be hashing out all the details again kind of as like this goes on, but the main idea for the make along is, again, I wanted to march into spring. So it's really kind of, we're gonna march through spring, but March into Spring was the name and we're sticking with it. But for the months of April, May, and June, so again, I kind of talked about dates, so they'll be available through March 13th. My goal is to then have them shipped by March 20th, which is my Mystery Yarn Club renewal day. So you would have them by the end of March, which means that for our make along we can start in April. So I'm thinking for April, May, and June, the 3 spring months here in the US. So for the 3 spring months, April, May, and June here in the US in the Northern Hemisphere, we will be knitting a pair of socks each month. And so I am deciding if I want to, I think I will have it go in that order that I mentioned, like the variegated, then the speckled, then the self-striping yarn, because I think one thing that'll be fun with this is to explore fun patterns with it. I think a lot of times with sock knitting, people will just automatically gravitate towards vanilla socks, which is great. And if you want to knit all these socks as vanilla socks, that is totally fine. But I thought it would be fun to like explore different patterns that work with like the different styles of dyeing. So if that sounds fun to you, awesome. All the details about the knit along or the make along will kind of post. I'll probably put it up on my blog at some point over the next few weeks, but that's the idea of what we're going to do. I'm not gonna have like, you know, I'm not gonna be super strict about it. Like if you get the box on March 25th and you want to start working on your socks and you want to go out of order, that's fine. What I would just, you know, we'll kind of hash out the details about deadlines and when things need to post. but I think it'll be really fun to talk about different patterns across the different styles of yarn, and I think it'll be fun if people do like the same pattern but in the different style yarn too. So it would be awesome to have like really great participation with this one. And yeah, so that being said, that is all I have to say about the March into Spring boxes. I hope you're as excited about this as me. And if you have any questions at all, definitely let me know. Otherwise, they're up and available. I also want to say I do have a die with me that will be posting soon. And then I also want to mention that my regular shop update is going to be pushed back a week, partially because of this going on, but then also I am experimenting with having it later in the month anyway. But I'll talk more about that in the shop update vlog on the 11th. So just know there's no shop update this weekend. It'll be next weekend with the March colors of the month. That is it. Have a great Tuesday. Thanks so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.